Hello everyone, it's Smitty from Boron Extrication. The title of this video is Use of Technology to Stay Informed. And what this is a presentation I put together to kind of highlight what's out there on the internet, on Facebook and some of the other stuff that we can use to not only learn and train with, but kind of keep our skill sets sharp on what is out there, what's evolving, and all that good stuff. So what this is going to entail, this video is going to go over some of the apps that are available for you to download on your smartphone, iPads, that type of stuff. We're going to talk about rescue cards, which is a feature over in Europe. We're going to talk about Moditech's Crash recovery system, which is a very powerful tool. We'll talk about QR codes and which manufacturer is using those right now. I'll talk about a newsletter that I recommend everyone sign up for. Go over some rescue games, some games that kind of go over extrication. And then we'll talk about websites, Facebook pages, and then some free training that's available out there for you. So first off, we're going to jump into apps that are available for smartphones. And one of them out there that is very interactive, and it's designed to go with the book that Ian Dunbar wrote for Holmatro. And what's nice about the book is the book has a lot of QR codes that you can scan, and it'll take you to videos, to the website. But their app kind of brings the book together as well. Their app has a lot of great, useful information out there. The only downfall I have is it is a app you have to buy. Now, $17 is not a ton of money, but I do believe you would get your money back out of it from what I have used and seen from the app. The West Virginia University Research Corporation, they formed the National Alternative Fuels Training Consortium, and they used some grants to put together a app and some training programs that they did kind of across the country. This is a dated app, but they secured more funding and they will be updating their app and their training as time moves on. So this is one that's not bad to download, take a look at. It's relevant information. It just may not be the most current models and the most current features. But the price on this one is free, and that's why it makes it definitely worth a download right now. Another one is the NFPA's Electrical Vehicle Safety Training. Now this has changed names, I believe. I believe now it's considered the Alternative Safety Training. But this is one that was put together by a grant. And I do believe the grant was from the Department of Energy. This is the one that provided and developed all the Volt training that firefighters received pretty much across the country over the last few years. But they have an app that really encompasses the alternative vehicles out there and some of the hazards that we will face with them. At $30 in my book, it is pricey, but it's definitely worth it. It's not that much money when you think of buying it to share and to use in your training at your station. Weber Rescue, their tips and tricks app, bar none, this has got to be one of the best out there when it comes to techniques and that type of training. Weber Rescue, they are basically a hydraulic tool manufacturer over in Europe. They put on some great training stuff, and this app is kind of an extension on it. Now the app features all their tools and the stuff they sell, but it's relevant regardless of what type of tool you have. And if you're wondering what Genesis is kind of a offshoot of Weber Rescue. Weber Rescue would be the parent company, but in the US, the tools are labeled as Genesis. price on this one free. Definitely worth a download. I would recommend this be one of the first things you do after completing this video is download this app. Moditech-Crash recovery system. This is a very, very powerful tool, and it is definitely something to look into. Another video that's included will go over Moditech in a more detailed fashion, but I wanted to put it in this video because I believe it has a spot in there, but I believe it has enough value that it warrants its own video to kind of give you a highlight of it. It's not cheap. I'm really not sure what the true cost of it is. You'd have to inquire with those guys and find out. Rescue cards. Rescue cards are something that's been going on over in Europe for a while. Opel and some of the other branded GM vehicles have these rescue cards that the firefighters can download from their phone, pull it up, and what it does is it pulls up a schematic, and they use Moditech's vehicle diagrams and the schematics and that type of stuff. So it's really easy to understand. The only downfall is it's limited on models. Right now it's mostly GM stuff, and it's the European market. Something out there though to take a look at. May have its use in training. Mercedes-Benz, they build safe vehicles because in their mind they do not want anyone to be killed in their vehicles. And it's kind of a good thing if you think about it. If you sell a product that has a remote chance that your customer could be injured or killed, you would not want that to happen. So you would want to build the safest car with the most advanced technology. And that's kind of what Mercedes does. And a lot of times those technologies trickle out into the auto industry. And then as the years progress, they get filtered out into more mainstream vehicles. But their QR code is on the gas filler cap, or for hybrid electrics in the plug cover cap, and then on the B pillar. And you just pull your phone out, use your scanner, and it'll pull up the schematics for that model that you're dealing with right there. And you can easily identify where the batteries are, airbag cylinders, any other hazard in the vehicle. But just like anything else, if you pull up a schematic and it says there's a stored gas inflator in the roof rail, still pull that trim away and verify where it is. And always pull and peek and get that trim out of the way so you can make sure there are no stored gas inflators where you're trying to cut. All right, we're jumping along to newsletters now. The Moditech Newsletter is very, very, very good. And what it does is it provides an update, kind of what's being rolled out to all the Moditech customers and people running Moditech-Crash recovery system. But what's beneficial about it is the newsletter usually goes into depth quite a few technologies that are being rolled out that are new in vehicles. And it's a great tool. One of the biggest reasons I like it is I hate getting too many emails. They only send one out quarterly, so at most you're going to probably get 4 of them. But it's power-packed full of information, and a lot of times the newsletter itself can provide great kitchen tabletop conversation discussing some of the new stuff that's coming out in the auto industry. The Rescue Guide. This is something that Jess Miner over in Denmark developed, and I was the North American editor for it for the first version, and he's got a new one out that should be hitting the store soon, but I wasn't able to completely finish it for him for the North American market, so I'm not sure when that one will roll out. But keep an eye on my site, and as soon as it's available, I'll put it out there. It's a low-cost pocket guide to kind of quickly go over electric vehicles, hybrid vehicles, hydrogen vehicles, and then some first aid stuff. It's a great quick little tool. Now, a lot of stuff would be awesome to learn if you could just simply play a video game. And there's two of them out there that I know of right now, and one of them is Weber Rescue's Rescue Team Leader game. The only downfall for this one is it's in German. They haven't created a English version of it yet. So it is difficult to kind of understand unless you speak German or have a fluent understanding of a lot of words that would be relevant in the fire service for extrication. But basically the game allows you to make decisions on how you're going to extricate your patient from the vehicle. And as you can see this picture, kind of a top view looking down, and you can have the cutter, spreaders, and personnel and that type of stuff. Something kind of neat, something out there. Now Holmatro has their rescue game, which does a lot of the same stuff. Theirs is in English, a little easier to understand. Does a lot of the same things. Lets you kind of step by step go through an extrication. Now, in no way does this ever replace hands-on training, but a lot of times we're not able to cut on vehicles enough in training or get enough vehicles. So it's never a bad idea to use something like this to keep everything fresh, to keep that muscle memory that we know what steps we're going to do, what techniques we're going to use, and all of that. So definitely worth checking out. Some of the websites out there, there are a ton of websites out there. A lot of them in the fire service are written by guys that truly have a passion and want to get information out to the fire service. Now myself, when I started boron extrication, I honestly started the site for me and for me to learn more. And as I started researching and writing, I kept learning more and more. And then when I realized that people were reading my site as well, is where I kept trying to keep content relevant. So if you look at a few of these, I'll go through my list, and this isn't a all-inclusive list. There's probably some out there missing, but these are some of the ones that come to my mind when I'm talking about vehicle extrication. The alternative fuels one, this is the electric vehicle training that the NFPA put together working on a grant. It's a great tool. The website has a lot of training programs, and they also have a good list of the ERG guides, the emergency response guides that the manufacturers put out about their electric and hybrid vehicles. And of course their hydrogen or other alternative fuels. So it's definitely a great site to take a look at. Another site is RTC Rescue. And this site is a site from the UK. Buddy of mine, John Curley, over in the UK put this one together. And it's a wealth of great information. And one thing you'll notice is extrication is a common language across the world when it comes to the fire service. But each area has different ways they do everything. The goals are all still the same. They may use the tools a little differently, but that's why I love the internet and how it's really made the fire service smaller on a global level. I mean, it's a a common occurrence for me to typically talk to a guy in Germany, Australia, Canada, the UK, Spain on a regular basis, because through Facebook messaging, email, and that type of stuff, you can communicate with them real time and you can get information back and forth. So RTC Rescue, great site. First Due Tackle, this is Chief Paul Hassmeyer. He's a battalion chief in Goshen Fire Department in Ohio, outside of Cincinnati. His site isn't as extrication focused as mine. His site is a lot of techniques for tech rescue with an emphasis on school bus and vehicle extrication. But he does cover a wild range of tech rescue topics. But First Due Tackle, definitely a great site to follow. Absolute Rescue, this is a site that we're trying to develop into be the largest tech rescue training site around. And right now we've got several partners that we're working with to keep getting the site bigger and better. We've got Paratech, Amkis, TechGen, and then Rescue Methods, they're a training partner with us as well. If you have a topic of extrication, tech rescue, rope, anything that falls under the umbrella of tech rescue, and you want to put together an article, put together a training, and you want to submit it, please send it to me. We'll get it up on the Absolute Rescue site. It's got a great reach so far. Definitely something we'd appreciate, and you'd help get information out. Now, I talked about how the internet has brought the global fire service community together and made it much smaller. And one of the biggest things is being able to communicate. And when different languages are involved, oftentimes that's where communication would stop. Take example of this page, Heavy Rescue Germany. It's all in German. But you can easily, from Google, select translate this page. You can translate it into whatever language you'd like it, and it will translate everything on the page. Everything may not translate perfectly because it's automatically being done, but it allows you to read what their basic thoughts were on some of the paragraphs and articles. And it's always a great idea to get a fresh perspective from someone halfway around the world. Could give you a great idea, could help improve how you do things. It's just an awesome thing. Another one's Technical Assistance. This is a site that's out there. It's another German site. You can see here I've translated it into English, and the majority of it translated no problem. And you can easily kind of see what message they're trying to get across. Ian Dunbar's web, he's got a great blog. He posts not too often, but several times a year, and it's usually great information. He's got a great perspective with his experience, and he tries to bring that out in some of his blog posts. He wrote that vehicle extrication book for Holmatro. It's a great book, very low price. I travel with it everywhere. It just fits easy in the backpack. It's a great thing to just go through when you're on the plane or in between runs at the station. It's a great tool. And then his webpage is another one. Facebook pages. When Facebook first started hitting, it got firefighters in a lot of trouble. people were caught posting things they probably shouldn't have, and for some people it cost them their job. But if you look at how Facebook's accepted and you look at what advantage it could bring you, it's a great tool for the fire service in my mind. And here's just a quick snapshot of some Facebook pages. There are a ton out there, and these are just a few for extrication, but almost anything in the fire service has a great Facebook page. I mean, if you're into truck ops, Captain Ashley out of Lexington, Kentucky, he does Truckee Talk. That's a great one. There's just a ton of them out there. And the beauty is once you follow them and like their page, you see what they post. So you're almost getting some free training just by checking in on your Facebook on a regular basis. So first off, we'll start with the Moditech Rescue Solutions, the crash people behind Crash Recovery System. Their web page and Facebook page provide a lot of good information. They usually post a vehicle schematic and then ask questions of the readers to try to guess what vehicle it is, what feature they're trying to get across that's changed. It's a great Facebook page to follow. The Holmatro Rescue Tools page, awesome page. They post a lot of great tips and techs. Definitely one to get out there. Tactical Advantage Training. If you do not follow this Facebook page right now, you are missing out on some of the best extrication training that is out there today. Lieutenant Isaac Frazier out of St. John's, Florida. He's a special operations lieutenant. He writes all the quick tips for fire engineering on extrication. And if you're not following his stuff on this webpage and his stuff on fire engineering, you're truly missing out on some great content. He posts a quick tip, usually tries to do one a week, and they're great quick hitter tips that you can print off when you're doing your battalion assignments for the day or whatever you're doing in the morning before the shift starts. You're doing your debrief, roll call. They're great little tips that you can mention to the guys. Hey, this is what we saw. Lieutenant Frazier posted this. It's a great way to stabilize a tractor trailer, or it's a great way to capture the suspension. I mean, they're just quick tips that everyone kind of needs to add to their mental toolbox. The Absolute Rescue Facebook, we talked about the website, but in addition, you should follow the Absolute Rescue webpage because it also posts a lot of relevant tech rescue runs that are making the news, and you can see a lot of pictures and see what other guys are doing. And it's definitely something you don't want to be the guy sitting behind the computer being the Monday morning quarterback firefighter. That takes away from everything that sharing this information is trying to get across. If you look at a picture and you say he shouldn't have done it this way, she shouldn't have put that there, that's fine if you're using that as a training minute for yourself and your guys to say, okay, if we were to be in this situation, a vehicle upside down, we're going to put a strut here and a strut here. You know, learn from the pictures and then also use that to develop plans for yourself. But we post a lot of great information on the Absolute Rescue Facebook page. Weber Rescue, another great Facebook page to follow. They post a lot of good information, a lot of training. And what I like mostly about it is it's all, well, I wouldn't say all, but an overwhelming majority of it is from Europe and a very strong concentration from Germany. You do see some stuff from Australia, some of the different countries in that region as well. but like anything, an outside perspective and to see how people do things a little differently than, say, we do things here in the States. Definitely a page to make sure you follow. Rescue Techs. This is a great page for a lot of wide range extrication and some tech rescue stuff. Eric Rickenbach out of Pennsylvania. He teaches all over Pennsylvania on not just extrication, but a lot of farm machinery rescue, grain bin rescue, a lot of stuff that is very tech important. He posts a lot of that stuff, and on his site and also on his webpage. So another great one to follow. Heavy Rescue Germany, I talked about their website, but take a look at their Facebook page as well. I happen to meet the guy behind this, Iraqi West. He is a great resource, and he's a well-traveled fire service instructor. He came over to Michigan to take a trench rescue technician class from Ron Zalaki, which is a legend in the trench community. But what I want to bring about this is this page is in German, but Facebook has built-in translators right here. You can see translation. So when you click that button, you click the C translation, it translated into the language that you read Facebook from. So an awesome way to get information from a different language, different country. Facebook kind of makes it automatic for you. Now, Heavy Rescue, Rescue Company, this is a closed Facebook group. You can ask to join the group. It's meant as a great training tool out there to kind of bounce ideas off some of the leading guys in tech rescue and heavy rescue in the United States. And then there's a few guys from around the world in there. I mean, you get a lot of great knowledge from it. So Rescue Company, definitely take a look at that one on Facebook. Now, free training. Online, you can get a lot of electric vehicle training from the Electric Vehicle Training Program, their website. It's the alternative fuel one that we talked about earlier. On their webpage, you can go through and take some online training, and it's free, and that's the best part about it. In addition to their online training, you can also request their emergency field guide for hybrid and electric vehicles down here. You got to be in the US to get it. You can download it as a PDF, and it's a great resource. Definitely something, if you're going to be teaching extrication in your department, it's a great tool to have there to pull some tips and techniques, some schematics, and that type of stuff off there. Definitely worth downloading. I'd make sure after you download the Weber Rescue app, I would make sure you download the hybrid and electric vehicle emergency field guide. And here's that field guide. It's on the NFPA catalog. You can see here. It's free. Definitely download it. Definitely worth getting. Weber Rescue, they have a PDF for their tips and tricks. A lot of it is in the app, but if you're looking for something on like a PDF that you're going to use on a computer, laptop, you can download their tips and tricks. Use this tiny link down here. You can key that in, and that'll take you to my webpage where you can download these PDF files. A great tool. Amicus, they provide some web webcasts that you can request a CD copy of. Some of them you can still stream over the internet, but some of them you have to actually request a training disc from AMCIS. But this is all free. They provide this stuff free to you. So it's a great resource to get out there. I did a hidden hazards in modern vehicle webcast for them several years back. It was a version of my new vehicle technology presentation. In my eyes, it's dated. It's still great information, but it is available for you out there. Annual training events. Some of the big ones say FDIC and Firehouse Expo. At FDIC, some of the hot classes, say for instance, extrication. I know this year Isaac Frazier, he's teaching one of the hot classes, and then Mike Huffman is teaching a hot class for hand tool only extrication. And that program is going to be very popular and going to be an excellent class. Those are the ones that fill up fast. So if you're going to be heading to FDIC this year, definitely make sure you sign up for that. Firehouse Expo, I know Billy Leach does a lot of heavy extrication for them. Definitely something to check out as well. T&R Rescue, they do a heavy metal class a couple times a year, more on the East Coast. Crash Course is a program they put on in the spring down in Ohio. It's a great class. A lot of the instructors from around the world. They even fly in some guys from Weber Rescue over in Germany to teach as well. Southern Extrication School. This is Les Baker's program. I believe it's either February or March when this school happens. But Les gets a lot of leading instructors from around the world. I mean, Randy Schmidt from Canada comes and teaches. Eric Rickenbach comes and teaches, and the list goes on and on. A great program, and theirs is getting bigger and bigger every year. Southern California has an auto extrication academy. Arizona has an extreme extrication school. Bowling Green State University down in Ohio, northern Ohio, they run a spring and fall state fire school. And the heavy rescue program, I happened to get the chance to teach my new vehicle technology program there this spring. And the instructors that are brought in for the heavy rescue program are bar none. Some of the top guys from, say, Columbus, Ohio, their rescue companies, Cincinnati's rescue companies. I mean, some really, really sharp instructors. Crunch Time. That is a program that's put on every September up in northern Illinois by Mike Huffman. It is an excellent program, and it introduces you into vehicle extrication competitions. And the way Mike runs his program is it's over a weekend. So Friday night is a classroom presentation. Saturday morning, they break the teams up into different functions, say IC, medical, and then stabilization. They go about their ways. They go to their own separate areas, train, and then after a couple hours, bring them back, start culminating everything they've learned. Then after lunch, we run through several different scenarios. Each team gets a set time with the instructors for hand tools, since we do a limited pit at this program. And then Sunday, they compete 2 times. Unlimited pits, which is hydraulics, anything you want to use, and then limited, which would be only hand tools. And then finally, rescue days. It's a great event over in Germany. Put it on your bucket list if you love extrication. I got to go over there this fall, and the program they put on is first class all the way. I mean, one of the best programs I think I've ever been to. Now, I'll put FDIC up there, but that's more of a fire service thing. If you're talking extrication only, then Rescue Days is bar none. Definitely worth checking it out. go to YouTube, you can see some of the videos. They run it every year, and it has a great wealth of knowledge. Some of the groups and associations out there, the big ones are Turk and NAVRA, the North American Vehicle Rescue Association. Those two are the ones that kind of run competitions in, U.S. and Canada. They're both, I think, under the World Rescue Organization. And then AutoX is another association. And then there's all the different extrication teams. Now, Poly Up Fire extrication team, they're on the West Coast. Jeff Pugh, this guy came up with the high lift first responder jack. He's got a great team. They do a lot of good training. So these are some of the groups and stuff you can reach out for. So wrapping it up, we talked about the apps. Make sure you go download Weber Rescue's app. Talked about some rescue cards. You're going to see more on Moditech's crash recovery system in a different video. QR codes from Mercedes. Sign up for that Moditech newsletter. Talked about some rescue games. Make sure you go and check out all the Facebook pages and websites that we discussed. And then make sure you go download that free hybrid electric vehicle from the NFPA that's available to you free to download. Other than that, that's all we've got. Thank you for your time.